Do apes like porn?
Apes and porn. Are you kidding me?
I'm not, because you know what? I've been following these articles. They come out periodically. And I really love them because as dramatic and chaos producing as porn can be in our culture, sort of like between factions of the culture or even within a relationship, the bottom line is even chimps watch porn. And it's a thing.
They watch it on their devices?
Well, no.
Or they go to a seedy part of the forest and find a place that's showing porn movies.
So it's all in research, they can't actually go to that part of the forest because it doesn't exist. However, when you give them options, to watch porn or not, they watch it. They watch it. There was a study, they called it, I don't have this in front of us, but there was one they called it pay-per-view, where they would charge I think it was Macaques, I could be wrong, but I think it was the Macaques, and they would charge them juice to watch the porn, and so these male macaques...
Wait, they had to pay with juice?
They had to pay.
Oh my God, and they were willing to do it.
Before we start, a small disclaimer. The Sex Doctors podcast is not a substitute for medical or psychological advice.
Welcome to the Sex Doctors, featuring Dr. Marianne Brandon, clinical psychologist and diplomate in sex therapy, and Dr. Abraham Morgentaler, renowned urologist and expert in sexual medicine and testosterone therapy. Together, they bring you expert insights into sex, intimacy, and relationships. Let's dive in.
That's great.
I know, but these two, one of them was more recent, and then the other one I just somehow charmed me. But anyway, so this one was about oxytocin and testosterone administration, amplifying these preferences to watch what they call sexual images. It's porn. They call it sexual images, whatever. In macaques.
Macaques, right? I think.
Oh, macaques.
Yeah, I think macaques.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then in the second one, it was a zoo-housed chimpanzee, just one, Joe, and they wanted to sort of watch his response to what they call potentially arousing stimuli.
I got to tell you, I like to think that I keep up with the literature, the medical literature and science. But if I hadn't been married to you, there's no way I would have ever come across these articles on my own.
So this is one of the many perks of being married to you is I can find this stuff and I can hand it over to you to give me your scientific understanding, which I love. It's just real. I love it. So that's really why we're doing this, because I had your attention to...
So humans are primates, and here's studies on primates, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is with both of these is these animals preferred pictures of human genitals to their own species.
Yeah. Wow. And they preferred anogenital regions.
Yes.
Pictures of those compared to faces.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if they were men too, males. I mean, male monkeys choosing...
Yeah, these are male monkeys. I don't think they looked at females.
No, they don't. I've yet to see, but I'm sure it exists somewhere. In some other country, perhaps. But anyway, yeah. So these monkeys would prefer, if they're given a choice, like they're given a split screen and they've got a face on one side and they've got genitals on the other... They're going for genitals.
Right. It's amazing. So they do these studies. They give them like laptops, with touch screens and stuff. And they pick the one that they want. In the second study that you were mentioning with the macaques, they're actually looking at their gaze. They got a split screen and they're watching where their eyes go. Like they get almost like
and pupil dilation. They watch. I mean, just like they do with human research subjects.
Amazing, right?
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything else about these?
Well, I mean, there were interesting things. So they administered testosterone at one point, oxytocin at another point. So oxytocin is like the cuddle hormone, the love hormone, whatever, and we know it.
Love hormone.
Yeah. So they wanted to see what would happen. Would that change anything? And all it did was make those chimps more interested in looking at what they were looking at in the first place.
Yeah.
So it really it expedited the whole process.
Yeah. So, I've been to just a quick comment about oxytocin. So, I lecture a lot and I'm often on programs with other speakers. Now, I was at one international speaker, a guy from Europe was talking about how he had tried all these different things himself. And how when he took oxytocin, he just walked around the house following his wife, like moonstruck by her.
So that's an N of one, because I've heard people try it and not have any great effect, but that's just
Absolutely. And we've used oxytocin in men, usually from compounding pharmacies, for problems like delayed ejaculation. And I too have never heard somebody say, "Oh, I followed my wife around," like, thinking that she hung the moon and stars and I just saw hearts all around her face and stuff like that. But that's what this guy was saying.
Right.
So they talk about it as if it's like the mating hormone or love hormone.
Yeah.
But testosterone is different. So testosterone is critical obviously for sexual behavior, regulation of sexual behavior, desire, all that stuff. And they tested that and they did see effects with testosterone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever their preference was, testosterone seemed to amplify it.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's super funny. I mean, it's really cute. And you know what I didn't get is in these studies, they always say there are ethical challenges to presenting porn to macaques or chimps. Like, what are those ethical challenges? Because I don't know what they could be. Like, they're having a good time. They get to masturbate afterward. Like, what's the problem? Do you know?
No, I don't really know. But, it seems to me that you can find ethical problems anywhere you want if you've got some ideas about, if you think porn is bad and dirty, why would you why would you make monkeys subject monkeys to that stuff?
I think monkeys are trying to subject themselves to it regardless, because when they're hanging out in groups, like even at the zoo, I have to believe they're checking each other out. Like,
of course they are.
Right.
And they touch themselves and they have sex.
So we didn't develop this concept of porn. Like, they were already onto it.
And they have sex, many of them, like bonobos are like out there, they're having, they're called orgies, right? When they have like a...
Well, I have a great article for that. So we're not going to the bonobios right now.
But they're having like group sex and it's all visible to everybody else. So I don't know what it is that they're seeing here different.
Yeah. It is super cute though. So they all seem to prefer, if given a choice, human genitals over their species, chimp or macaque genitals. And so
that's something.
It is so fascinating. And somewhere in one of these articles, they speculated, like, maybe it's more about the quality of relationship with the human. Like, if they had a really good relationship with the human, they'd be more apt to like human porn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so cute.
I know. All of these have been exposed to humans, right?
Right, exactly.
These are basically laboratory animals. And who knows whether it would be true for ones that they caught in the wild. And
like, maybe they would prefer humans because those are not the animals they're used to having sex with. So they're a little more curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't really work. Nobody even speculated on that one. So somehow I don't think that
one of these studies was in one chimp.
Yeah.
And Joe. And he lived alone without any other chimp.
I know, that's very low.
And for years, really, his only kind of primate company was human primates.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Including females. And he really liked some of the female risque stuff. It wasn't that risque. It was just like naked pictures.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I don't know. Can you imagine monkeys or chimps looking at like some BDSM?
I wouldn't want to blow their circuits, their little monkey circuits. I don't know, but
I don't know. A female chimp in like a maid outfit or something like that.
So
I don't know if it would have any cultural relevance for them.
you know what? I know. We could give him our kitty cat all the cat BDSM we wanted. He would not.
He wouldn't respond to any of it.
Nothing.
No, it doesn't watch TV. barely watches when you try and give him like images of like birds just to get his attention.
That doesn't even do it.
Doesn't work.
Even a bug flying around, not really so exciting.
Yeah, usually he likes bugs, but he likes the ones in real life, not so much on the screen.
So I don't know. We've removed that part of his life. It's not coming back.
Yeah.
But
listen, my main takeaway from this stuff is that humans, so really what this says, these are experiments in non-humans, right?
Mhm.
And so it's interesting because of that. Right?
Yeah.
Does it tell us anything about ourselves? And the answer is, I think it does,
Mhm.
because our brains and basically through evolution, our DNA is so closely tied to that of chimps and apes and the other lesson is that sex and sexuality and our interest in this kind of imagery, of course, it makes sense that it's true in non-human primates if it's true in us.
absolutely.
Like, it's not guaranteed, but it makes sense.
Well, it's true. It's instinctive. We've had hundreds of thousands of years before us of this kind of adaptation to find this exciting. We find this exciting because ultimately our role, according to Mother Nature, is to procreate. So we need to think this is a good idea.
That's right.
And so that's what this is all about. And so I do like to bring this message back to porn, not because I'm defending porn, but simply because it is instinctive. It is an adaptive response that people like it. Now, it can go too far for sure with people, whatever. But the bottom line is it's a part of humanity. I mean, that's what it is. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember that message as we struggle along with.
We are sexual creatures.
We are.
Yeah. Hence the value of a podcast called The Sex Doctors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we need to remind ourselves and everybody else sometimes of these things that on some level is obvious and on some level is not.
Right. Now, let me say before we close today that the researchers are always quick to explain that we're only looking at these animals in captivity. And if they were out in the wild, who knows, they would go to that part of the forest.
Yeah, they might to the sex cinema.
Exactly. So we don't know because
we don't know.
That's not who we're studying in this way.
No.
Right. But nonetheless, very fascinating in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, listen, thanks so much to Joe the chimp and to the other macaque monkeys that did all this work for us.
Yes.
And it's been a pleasure discussing this topic with you, Dr. Brandon.
And you, Dr. Morgentaler.
So I hope to see you on another podcast.
I think it'll happen.
Very good. Well, that's coming in another podcast of The Sex Doctors, and we hope to see you back again another time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Sex Doctors with Dr. Marianne Brandon and Dr. Abraham Morgentaler. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tune in next time for more expert advice on sexual health and relationships.